Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Ep2099 and I am a comedian out of Fresno, California, and this is a podcast where I sit down with my fellow funny friends, my fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi, how are ya? How's your week been? I kind of lied to you just a second ago. Mentioned I sit down with fellow funny friends. I don't have a guest for you this week. Yeah, I got super busy and I should have. I had the opportunity. I just had a little bit of a family emergency this week, and the time I should have spent recording a podcast episode. I was helping out my father, my dad. Speaking of dads, it's our post Father's Day episode. Hope you guys had a fun Father's Day. If you had a dad, if you are a dad, I hope that went well. Hope you got to spend some time with, either your kids or with your dad. My Father's Day was pretty cool. I hung out with Abby. She got me a game. I guess it's kind of a board game. It was sort of like if you ever played Crossfire when you were a kid. It's sort of, it's almost like Pong, like a cross between pinball and Pong. Where you have like your little board and little flappers, and you can, there's a ball and you're like knocking the ball, almost like foosball, I guess, sort of, and not quite. There's not like a bunch of little guys, but you're trying to like knock the ball. This game Abby got me. You're trying to knock the ball into your opponent's goal, and if you make a goal on your opponent, there's a jet of water that shoots into your opponent's face, and so that was my Father's Day gift from Abby. I was like, this feels like it's a little more for you, but that's fine. We can play it together. It's all right. And so, it was a good Father's Day though. We hung out and we got lunch together and it was good. I just got home from a show. Just got home from a show at our Full Circle Olympics show. It was a good one. We had a previous Sad Dad guest, Tom Goss, on headlining tonight, and it was a blast. We had Tom up the last couple of days, and then before that we had Cree Powell from Santa Cruz, and again another former Sad Dad guest, and that was a ton of fun. Again, if you're in the greater Fresno Clovis area, you got to come out, man. These shows have been so fun lately. Our Tuesday show, we just set like a new record for attendance, and it was a really really fun time, and so yeah, do that. I've been I was down in LA last week. That's the other reason I didn't get a guest on the show. I was down in LA last week. I auditioned. I had someone talk me into doing the auditions at Flappers, which is a comedy club in Southern California, and that went well. They liked me. They asked me to be on more shows. It was a little weird because I was prepping. Somebody told me they were 5-minute sets. You sign up for this audition, and I was preparing for a 5-minute set, and right at the top, I was going to go up second, and right at the beginning, the booker that was running the show for the auditions was like, "Oh, sorry guys, it's going to be 3-minute sets today." So as I was walking up on stage, I was literally kind of like still doing the math. Like I was trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? What am I going to cut? What am I going to end on? And ended up doing really well. I got some weird advice though. It was some weird advice from the booker. He was like, your material, it sounded too written. I felt like I could see the writing. And I was like, well, you asked for a material. Like a material means like your best material. So yeah, I'm going to do jokes that I've probably told literally 1,000 times. But the advice was strange. He was like, you should go up on open mics and you should don't even do any punchlines. Do comedy without punchlines. Tell jokes that that aren't technically jokes because there's no pun. I was like, this seems not right. So I don't know. You take it all with a grain of salt. I don't know. I had the best set on that fucking showcase. You can go fuck yourself if you say otherwise. Anyway, so That's kind of been my week. I was down in Southern California visiting visiting a gal that I'm seeing right now, and that was good. We got to hang out. She lives in Silver Lake. Silver Lake's kind of a weird place. I got to like walk around Silver. It's like a really hipstery area. I went out to a show in Atwater Village, which is like Silver Lake and Atwater Village are both like the east side of LA, which is sort of a kind of like a hipstery part of LA. And I got to see that. Got to hang out with my buddy Rick Wood. Rick Wood is again another previous Sad Dad guest. I think he was episode 12. Rick's a fun guy, and we went to a couple of shows out there. We actually didn't perform. We just watched the shows, and it's super. A lot of hipsters out there, man, but some cool venues. And I walked around the Silver Lake Reservoir, got to just kind of like people watch. There was a dude I was walking around it. I was just walking around by myself, just taking a walk. I was just walking around seeing what all of Silver Lake had to offer. I like old timey LA history. Like when you get into like the early 1900s, like the Mulholland thing, like the whole Mulholland dude that was trying to like get water into LA because it was, it was literally like dying of thirst. LA was this just enormous town that was growing exponentially, and they had no way to like get people water. I think it's kind of like a harrowing tale, and I always find that really fascinating. Like old school, like LA Hollywood history just absolutely fascinates me. And you walk around this reservoir, and there's all these like cool little like history tidbits about that, and it's just wild to see like what it was. There was nothing there. 100 years ago, there was nothing there, and now it's just this sprawling urban landscape with more people per capita than anywhere else on the planet. Maybe not. That's not true. You probably get into like India and other countries, but like I mean, it's the most populous cities in the United States, and it's just wild. You see these old pictures from 100 years ago, and there's just nothing, just hills, just rolling hills, and nothing around there. And you look at it now, it's just all these $1 million homes. How do people afford to live here? It's got to be like Saudi princes, right? Like it's got to be like out of country like money, like crazy oil money, like buying these houses and renting them to hipsters. I don't know, it's just my weird conspiracy theory. And so anyway, walked around there, saw a guy. It was wild. He was walking around the Silver Lake Reservoir. I've never seen anybody do this. He was like hanging on. There was like this chain link fence, and he was hanging on to the chain link fence, like grabbing it. And I almost asked him if he was okay. I don't know if he was having like a weird moment or like a break. And then he like pulled himself up like he was doing a pull up on this chain link fence, and then like dug his toes into the fence, and he was barefoot. And then he started doing like toe ups. He was just like, but he wasn't like he was like some crazy. He was just wearing like weird frumpy clothes. And I was like, is this man homeless? Like doing toe push-ups? Like, what do you need such foot strengthening if you live out on the street? I don't understand. And it was weird. Silver Lake's a strange place. Oh man. So yeah, I mentioned earlier that my dad had like a weird emergency. He called me yesterday. It was Tuesday morning. He called me yesterday like 10:30. He's like, hey, he owns his own business and he does all his own deliveries. Man, he's almost 70 years old and he's still doing his own deliveries. And it's not like we deliver, like his business, it's not like he makes chemicals for boilers, industrial boilers. So like all these chemicals are in buckets. Like the lightest bit of product that he sells is 50 pounds. It's a five gallon bucket. It's like 40 to 50 pounds. That's the lightest thing he sells. And he was in San Jose, California, and this lady pulled out in front of him while he was making deliveries, and he just clobbered her. Like he had no time to stop, wrecked his truck, wrecked her car. It was right in front of, weirdly enough, it was right in front of like the IBM manufacturing plant in San Jose. And while you would think like San Jose, big California city, IBM, big company in a big city, manufacturing plant, like, oh, this is a big deal. It is literally the middle of nowhere. Like it's surrounded by fields. There's nothing there. And so he calls me and he's like, hey, like I need you and your truck to drive up here to San Jose. And then I need to like transfer all of this product, all of these buckets into your truck, and I need to finish my route, and I need you to stay here and wait for the tow truck. And I was like, you got it, Dad. Like, I love you, and I'm willing to do this. And so I drove the 2.5. It was actually ended up being 3 hours because a big rig caught on fire and closed down part of the highway. So I get there, and we get all the stuff transferred over. I call the tow truck, and then I wait. And then I wait for 3 hours. I waited in the middle of nowhere for this tow truck to finally arrive. And it got there, and the driver was actually kind of a cool dude. He was like an Afghani American. Like, he moved to California like something like 12 years ago. And it's, I mean, this is one of those things where you sit in a car, because he had to like pick up the busted truck, pick up me. I had to, I was sitting in the cab with him, and we had to drive the 3 hours from San Jose to Fresno. And so you're just sitting in a car with a stranger, you just start making small talk. And he was fascinating. He was such an interesting dude. I think his name was Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq. He was this like Afghani like refugee, and like he was there. I mean, he kind of caught like the tail end of like the Soviet invasion. He was just a kid. The Soviet Afghani war. And then he was right in the smack dab in the middle of like the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan, and in the early 2000s. And we're just talking. This dude's really interesting. And we were driving by, on the way back from San Jose to Fresno. There's a bunch of like aqueducts and stuff that we pass, and there's always people like fishing. And I was like, man, Shaq, I hate fishing. I've never enjoyed fishing. And Shaq's like, yeah, I hate fishing too. It's the worst. He's like, American fishing is the worst. And I was like, wait, American fishing? He's like, oh yeah, Afghan fishing is so much different. I was like, wait, you need to explain yourself right now. And he went on to tell me this story. He was, because I guess like after the Soviets pulled out of Afghanistan in like the late 80s, kind of like early 90s era, they left all these like landmines. There was all these like landmines, and he was saying it was kind of sinister. Like sometimes they would like rig up landmines to like toys, like for children. Like it was just fucked up, and like, or shiny things, like things like that people would be attracted to there. Like, and so Shaq was telling me like from a very young age, like Afghani children were taught how to spot a landmine, how to look for a landmine, how to dig up a landmine, and how to disarm a landmine. Like kindergarten age children, could you imagine like a fucking 6-year-old doing that? That's insane. And he was like, me and my friends, when we wanted to go fishing, we would go find a landmine or two, we would dig it up, and some of us would wait downstream with our nets. And then a couple others, we would go upstream after we've dug up a couple of landmines, right? And he was like, there's a little circuit. When you look at these landmines, there's a little electric circuit that if it, when you compress it, you step on it, for example, with a landmine, you close the circuit, and it causes the landmine to detonate. He's like, what we figured out was if you throw the landmine into water, the water has enough conduction that it closes the circuit for you, causing the landmine to explode once it hits the water. And so we would throw these landmines. It's fucking children throwing landmines into the river, causing them to explode, killing all the fish with the resulting shockwave, and then the friends were downstream just catching all the dead fish. And I was like, you know what? Afghani fishing sounds fucking rad. I'd do that in a heartbeat. That sounds way cooler than walking out there with your dumb pole, cutting a worm in half. I don't know. There's a mouse in my house. I haven't actually seen it yet. I had Tom Goss staying with me, and he was like, hey, Dave, I just saw a mouse. And I was like, I get like one mouse a year. One little mouse. I got to go buy some mouse traps. I feel bad. They're so cute. It's been so hot. I almost don't blame them for trying to come inside. It's been like 105 degrees here in Fresno. It's so hot. I can't deal with that. It's too much. Running the AC. To turn where my podcast station is, it's right in front of my air conditioner, so I have to like turn off my air conditioner in order to record this podcast. It's getting hot. Oh well. So anyway, my dad's okay though. My dad's fine. Just to wrap up that accident. Yeah, he hurt his hand a little bit. So he was in that accident. I hope he's okay. I worry about him. He was using my truck to make his deliveries, and the problem with my truck is my truck has a lot of miles on it, like something stupid, like 630,000 miles on it. And so he was using my truck to make deliveries, and I think the serpentine belt broke while he was driving it. I was like, I'm sorry, Dad. It's just, I don't know. My truck's so old that like, if it exploded, like it's got so many miles on it that like if it exploded without any good reason, I'd be like, we had a good run, 630,000 miles. I think as a vehicle, you're allowed to just explode for reasons that could be all your own, I don't know. I feel like it gains sentience at that point. Oh, well. Anyway, cool. So, guys, I have been ranting now for 15 minutes. And just give you a little something. I'm going to be back next week. I got some real funny comedians coming up this next week, Ben Branfin and Felicia Folks, and I'm going to plan on recording some Sad Dad episodes with them. So I'll be back with an actual guest rather than me just ranting for 15 minutes to you guys. But I wanted to have a little something for you. I don't know. You guys have been so good to me, and I feel bad just having nothing, just nothing. So that's it. And cool, guys. Rate and review on iTunes if you get a chance. If you don't want to rate this one very well, I totally get it. I totally, absolutely get it. But I'm only human. I'm doing my best. Doing this all. It's a one-man operation, and I kind of got caught up. A family emergency, and then love, dumb, old, stupid love took me out of town for a couple days. So but you guys are awesome. If you need to get a hold of me, saddadpodcast@gmail.com. You can email me there. You can follow me on all the social medias at Dave Ep2099. And that is it, folks. We'll be back. I promise I'll have a guest for you next week. Hopefully it's Ben Branfin. The guy's so funny and so interesting, and we'll do the damn thing. So guys, adios.